Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Charlie, for having me here. I'd like to acknowledge that we are speaking from the unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. My name is Fareed Khan. I'm a human rights activist and anti-hate activist and the founder of the advocacy group Canadians United Against Hate. Tomorrow, February 15th, is Canada's Flag Day. It marks the 60th anniversary of the adoption of the red and white maple leaf flag, a symbol of Canada recognized around the world and a symbol that Canadians are very proud to display. As we mark this occasion, we're reminded of the values that have made Canada a beacon of hope and freedom. But today we're also reminded of the very real threat hanging over our country, the threat of Donald Trump and his fascist and racist ambitions. I'm here to speak today as a Canadian citizen, as an immigrant, as a child of refugee parents. I'm here to speak for the millions of Canadians who are watching with alarm as Canada-US relations worsen day by day with every new word that comes out of the mouth of Donald Trump as he refers to Canada. And because of Trump's threats to wreck Canada's economy and annex us as the 51st state. I'm here to say to Donald Trump and his MAGA cultists that Canada will never become part of the US, and it'll only happen when hell freezes over and all Canadians are gone from this land. For my entire life, Canada has stood tall as a nation that values diversity, equity, and inclusion. But with Trump's threats, these values are also under threat. A vision of the future under Trump can be seen in the fascist edicts which target that have come out of his office, which target migrants, refugees, the LGBTQ2 community, women, Muslims, vulnerable minorities, edicts which perpetuate hate, bigotry, misogyny, transphobia, and xenophobia, and violate fundamental human rights. And make no mistake, Trump is a fascist. That's not my assessment, but that of 11 former high-ranking officials from his previous administration, including his longest-serving chief of staff and his former chief of defense staff. My parents and millions of others chose to emigrate to Canada because of its values and the economic opportunities it presented. They chose to settle here over other nations because they wanted their children to be Canadian, not American. And so it's only natural that immigrants, along with all patriotic Canadians, stand up and defend our country against Trump's unofficial declaration of war, which is what his threats to impose 25% tariffs and annex Canada are. Trump's repeated comments about annexing Canada and his actions reveal a sociopathy that was described in detail in the 2017 book, The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump. In it, 27 psychiatrists and mental health professionals made it clear that Trump is a sociopath who poses a threat not just to the US, but to the entire world. Some of the assessments of Trump's personality in the book include the following, and mind you, these are assessments made by professionals who work in the area of mental health. Trump is an impulsive, immature, incompetent person who, when in the position of ultimate power, would easily slide into the role of tyrant. His sociopathic characteristics are undeniable and present a profound threat to democracy. He is profoundly an evil man exhibiting malignant narcissism. And if left unchecked, his pathological narcissism could lead to World War III. I would encourage members of the media who haven't looked at this book to please take a look at it and get a real look into the kind of person that Donald Trump is, if you don't know already from the insanity that comes out of his mouth. To our political leaders, I say Canada cannot engage with him as we do with other normal leaders. He has shown himself to be an enemy to Canada, and we have to treat him as a clear and present danger to our country and to our allies. And to the Canadian media, I say, begin telling the story of the fascist sociopath occupying the White House using that language so that Canadians in the world know the very real danger he presents to peace and stability. During World War II, over 45,000 Canadian soldiers, sailors, and airmen paid the ultimate price to defend Canada from a fascist threat, as did millions of others from allied nations. Let's not let those sacrifices be in vain as we face another fascist threat today. And as we mark the 60th anniversary of the Canadian flag, all Canadians who say that they love Canada, who want to continue to build the just society that Pierre Trudeau spoke of over 50 years ago, who want to protect our communities from the fascist, racist, misogynistic, and transphobic demagogue that is trying to destroy Canada, we need to stand together and defend our flag, our country, and our sovereignty.